Welcome, Wappum crew and new listeners. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, August 27th, Monday, August 28th for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I hope you guys have had an awesome weekend so far. Mine's been pretty laid back and relaxing. As usual, I stayed up way too late last night. But I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us under We Are Paradox Media on Spreaker. You may also find us on KPNL Radio, which you can find on KPNL Radio at kpnl-db.com. If you want to listen to us in your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, look once more under We Are Paradox Media at Spreaker, Spotify, Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Podcast Chaser. Just recently, we also expanded to Podcast Vine as well as Amazon. So look us up there. If you would, please mosey on over to our YouTube channel under We Are Paradox Media. Make sure you follow, like any videos that you've listened to, and leave us a comment, whether good or bad, or perhaps for a future guest that you would like us to try to get onto our show sometime in the hopefully near future. So this evening, I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there, and hopefully my horror fans. We have Mr. known as Eric Morse, author William Pattison. He wrote the Camp Crystal Lake novel series for Berkeley Books, published in 1993 through 1994. These books include the novels Mother's Day, Jason's Curse, The Carnival, and Road Trip. The fifth Camp Crystal Lake novel, The Mask of Jason Voorhees, which he web published for his fans. In 2014, he published The Traveler, Conflict of Interest, Science Fiction, and Psychotic State, the novel, which is a horror/splatterpunk, through Linkfield Press. So in 2018, he started his own publishing house, WCP Enterprises Publishing, and reprinted Psychotic State, the novel, and The Traveler. He also has published 2 novels by Christopher Hyland, The Witch and the Prince, and The Path Never Taken through WCP Enterprises. He's currently writing a 6-part anthology titled Symphony of Death. I believe he's pretty far into that or has completed it. So as Eric Morse, he was mentioned in the second printing of the book Crystal Lake Memories by Peter Brick, and also he worked as an executive consultant on an independent film adaptation of his novel Friday the 13th, Mother's Day. He worked as executive consultant and screenwriter on an independent horror anthology film titled The Horror Seasons. He also worked with screenwriter aka Nurse Hatcheton, the podcast Full Spectrum Horror. He also has his own podcast as well, An Awakening of Horror. He was also the executive consultant on the film in Derek Young's film, Midnight Matinee Psycho. He plays the role of a reporter at the beginning of the film, and he is also credited as associated producer, contributing writer, and unit director on that film as well. He will be bringing back his reporter character in Derek Young's film Psychotic State, and he will also be playing a part in Derek Young's film Dozy. Welcome, William, aka Agent. What's it?
Agent Willis. Garden
Agent
scares,
Willis.
everybody. Yes, indeed. Actually, I also started up another podcast called Bloodbath Beyond Podcast. So, that's actually taking over for the podcast that I was doing with author Christopher Hyland, which was called Full Spectrum Horror. But now I'm on my own doing that. Yeah, and currently I am working on Symphony of Death 5, which is the main story is called Anniversary. But the current thing I'm working on is the prologue, which is, amusingly enough, it's a novella where I'm telling the history of hell from the fall to where hell and heaven make a deal with each other.
Well, that's intriguing. So have you noticed, like, as you're writing these things or putting a lot of thought into it, anything like weird happening in your house, or has everything stayed somewhat copacetic?
Well, the thing is, I live in a haunted house, so everything happens here. We have time dilations, we have ghosts, we have Shadow Man, we have all kinds of different things. Shoot, I even, my sister actually brought up a demon in the basement.
Oh no! How'd she do that?
Years ago, and the thing's still actually hanging around. So, that's always fun.
Right? Did she use like a Ouija board, or how did she get that to happen?
No, my sister was actually she's a witch. And so she did a conjuration with a friend of hers. She wanted to resurrect her cat.
Oh no!
And unfortunately, she brought forth a demon, and now the demon, when it arrived, it was in a kind of a short fury configuration. But now it's like an 8-foot tall demon, full on demon with the horns and the hooves and all that.
Oh my goodness!
Fun.
Was that your sister that passed, or is that the one that's still around?
No, that's the one that I live with.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that passed, she lived up in Clear Lake. This one's the one that I take care of, so, when I'm not writing.
No, that takes up so much time, writing and reading.
Oh, yeah, because currently I'm also working on 2 other stories. I'm doing one which is a return to the slasher genre. It's a short story called Final Confrontation. I'm doing it a little bit unique. I'm doing the opening of the story happens just before the end, and then I tell the events before in flashback. Because when the story opens, the main character is all beaten up and bloody and stuff, and she's just gotten away from the killer, and she's walking down a dirt road with a messed up foot, and just a mess. And I've also got another one which is intriguing because obviously I'm a big fan of Constantine. I'm a big fan of Kolchak the Night Stalker, and a television show called Brimstone that only lasted a season. Well, I'm doing the first story I've written on a new character that I'm doing called Devlin Dark, and he's a demon hunter. So I'm doing that one. Unusually, this first story is actually about Devlin's family and how he has to fix something that he and his brother Damon did like 20 years ago, because they got revenge on their father. And unfortunately, the magic that they use to get revenge on the father is keeping him on Earth. So he's
Oh.
stuck in his death state, stuck to his body, and he had been murdered. So it's like this horrible corpse. And the thing is that what they had done to him is they'd given him a severe stroke, so his legs were useless. His left, well, his right arm is useless, and half of his face is paralyzed.
Oh no.
So you got this ghost that's dragging himself along the floor, and the killer had cut him from chest to groin, so all of his internal organs are dragging along with him.
That's insane because I did do an investigation on a house a couple of years ago, and I was using one of those SLS cameras where it shows the little formations, the stick figures. And
Uh-huh.
at one point, my sister's old man that was murdered, he was stabbed to death. He was hanging out there in several of the rooms. And then there was another ghost, like you said, kind of either in his death state, but I also got the feeling that this guy could have been like a retired veteran or whatnot and was in a wheelchair in his life, but in ghost form, he was always like sitting and leaning against something on the floor, or like you said, like dragging himself around. It was like really creepy, but I felt bad for him because it's like, once you go to that other side, you would think that you could get past that, but I think that's something that really stuck to him and kept him kind of in that state. That's insane.
Oh yeah, a lot of ghosts who have not initially passed on. The thing is that they're in death state. The thing is that once the portal opens for them, they are healed. They turn back into a younger version of themselves before they go through. But in the case of Devlin Dark's father, he's in death state, so he still retains everything. And he had before, when he was murdered, the guy tortured him as well, so he's got cuts all over him and stuff. And only Devlin and Devlin's niece can see him. So it's pretty nasty. I mean, you got this teenage girl who's traumatized because her grandpa keeps showing up and, coming to her bed every night and begging her for help and saying that he's cold and he's dragging himself and leaving ghost blood trails all over the place. Yeah, fun
Not good.
situation. Yeah.
Poor
So
granddaughter.
anyways, it's going to be a good story. I'm working on all three at once, and so it's actually been helpful for me because I've been trying to work on the hell story, which is called Pain, Death, and Hell. And it's been hard because, it's a long story and very complicated story. And what I've found is working on these other two stories as well, I can go from one story to the next, and I come into the other story fresh and feeling better rather than working on one story and having to focus completely on it.
Yeah, on that timeline and everything.
So, anyways, yeah. So,
And you do
this is,
publish other writers. You don't just publish yourself uh, with this publishing business that you have, correct?
Yeah, WCP Enterprises. Currently, I only have Mr. Highland because he begged me, and he had formerly been in Linkville Press. And I think you know the story about Linkville Press, don't you there, Tessa?
Yeah, I believe it. Sounded like a really good thing, but it turned out being pretty shisty, pretty bad.
Well, what had happened was that I was being published through Linkville Press, and the thing was that Linkville had just published my first Symphony of Death book, Robert Diablo, and the thing is that that
Hold on one sec.
um,
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead. So you said the thing was that, and then it totally cut out.
Oh, okay. The thing was that I had just published my first book in Symphony of Death, Robert Diablo, which is based on a story idea that Jen and Sylvia Soska had talked to me about on a script that they were going to do after American Mary. And the thing is that they just basically threw that storyline, threw it away. And I decided, okay, well, I like the story idea, which is a re-envisioning of the classic Harvey with the rabbit and that. So I took the story and I developed it, and I put it as the main story of Symphony of Death Part 1. Well, the Soska's friends decided that they were going to destroy me because, they didn't like the fact that I was taking those geniuses' story and putting it out myself. Thing is that the only thing that I got from them was, okay, it's a re-envisioning of Harvey with a demon instead of a rabbit. I came up with the storyline. I came up with everything else, the characters and everything. I actually even put the Soskas, a parody of the Soskas, in the story as
Why
these
not?
two twin sisters. And so all these ones were harassing my publisher, harassing the publishing house, went and found out all the authors that were part of this publishing house, and they were harassing them and basically told my publisher, you need to pull this, all the books of this guy and cancel your contracts with him, or we're going to destroy your publishing house. So my publisher, Amanda, being a scaredy cat, went and broke 6 contracts with me.
Jeez.
And threw me out into the cold. I spent 3 years trying to find a publisher, but these Soska fans went to all the small publishers that published horror and threatened them too. So
And I know they were a big thing like at one point, but they've kind of fizzled out. And it was like right after we did our last show, I did a lot of homework and checked up on all these people that were kind of in this circle or whatnot. I do believe that I got a couple friend requests and some messages, but I just ignored it all, and they just didn't really follow along. I think they just kind of petered out and maybe found a new hobby.
Yeah. So no, they've kept on with me. I mean, shit, they've been on me for like 10 years now, which is ridiculous. But anyways, yeah, so I ended up having to do my own publishing house, WCP Enterprises. And the thing is that Mr. Hyland had been waiting for 3 years for Amanda to publish his 2 books.
Oh my gosh.
And so I just told him, well, your contract is coming up in a few months. Why don't you just cancel your contract with her? I'll take you on and I will publish your books. And I published his books within 2 months. Got him out there. I've been promoting them and stuff and that. So he's, it made my publishing house, WCP Enterprises, an actual publishing house. Though the haters sit there and say, yeah, you're not a real publisher. Whatever.
You're a pretend publisher. So if
I'm a
anybody's
pretend
interested,
publisher.
Yeah. If anybody's interested in publishing through you, where do they go?
And I'm a pretend author.
Yes, you're really not who you say you are.
No. All my stuff is garbage, and that my Camp Crystal Lake novels were written by a fictitious writer named Dan Fox, which they created about 4 years ago, and kept saying, "Oh no, it's Dan Fox." Hello. Oh, you're back.
Yeah. You froze up again. So Dan Fox, what?
Yeah, so did you. Dan Fox, on his Facebook page, you take a look at him, and most of his pictures are his face. They got this guy for Dan Fox, and they only had 2 pictures of him, so they kept putting these same heads on my body in pictures of me.
Oh my gosh.
And saying that, oh no, he's got a wife named Kathleen, because they're obsessed about saying that I'm that I am stalking Kathleen Wilhoit, and sitting there saying that Dan Fox has 2 daughters named Jeanette and Brittany, which is, Jeanette is my sister's name that I live with, and Brittany is my niece. And they took my birthday too, saying, "Oh no, that's Dan Fox's birthday." Bullshit.
Oh my
So
gosh.
anyways, people when they look at it, they're like, "Oh, give me a fucking break." But yeah, they've gone all over the internet. They've gone to different wiki sites and took my name out and put Dan Fox in there. They got my Wikipedia profile taken down. All kinds of different shit over the last 10 years. It's been fun. I finally actually got my name back on Wikipedia under, as the author of the Camp Crystal Lake novels, except that the person putting my name in there ended up having to misspell my last name, because Wikipedia got a petition saying that they cannot put me back on there. So all of a sudden, I'm William Pattison. I'm the glittery author. I'm the glittery vampire author. Give me a fucking break.
That's steamy.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, I'm Batman.
Batman.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So that's got you up to date on stuff. So, anyways, yeah. I've got a good subject. I mean, we were talking about it on Skype, and you said that your readers would be very interested in this. So, let's talk about haunted and cursed paintings.
Ooh. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
They are insane.
Aren't they?
Yes.
I'm only going to be talking about 4 of them, but they're all over the place, and some of them are really freaky in that. The ones I've got are pretty, they're interesting. The one actually terrorized an entire country, and I love that. But anyways, the first one is amusing because a certain gentleman named Will Kuiper said that I looked like this person.
Oh.
Another one of my cyber stalkers. Anyways, just to put people into the know when it comes to paintings, the oldest painting around is 40,000 years old.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah, it's a cave painting. And since then, of course, paintings have been a very interesting thing. And, they've found that the images and colors on paintings can influence people's moods and their thoughts. So it's no doubt that you have, that there are paintings that appear haunted or cursed. So anyways, my first painting I'm going to a self-portrait that was done by the famous killer John Wayne Gacy.
Oh no. Okay, I know it. Yep, I know which one you're talking about.
John Wayne Gacy killed 33 people before getting caught.
Oh my gosh.
The portrait depicts Gacy in his clown persona, Pogo the Clown.
Is that the one with the clown and it's holding balloons and it's got the smile on his face, or is it the more close up one?
It's one where he's standing there and he's holding a pin that says Pogo and he's holding balloons. There are several paintings done by Gacy of Pogo, but this one in particular has got the tainted history. This particular painting was bought by Nikki Stone in 2000. Nikki was plagued with bad luck. This ranged from his dog dying the day that he got the painting to his mother being diagnosed with cancer. He decided to give the painting to a friend, but the bad luck continued when that person's friend and neighbor died the day that he got the painting. Finally, the painting was passed to yet another person who attempted suicide while in possession of the painting. Now, of course, it could all be nothing but coincidence, but it seems anyone who gets the painting quickly gets rid of it. Hell, you know what? Johnny Depp even had a copy of the painting and got rid of it because he claimed no one wanted to have anything to do with it, and they found it excessively disturbing. How you like that one?
You like those apples? Yeah, it's amazing how not only the original painting that, that person's energy went into as bad karma or bad effects, but then copies of this painting also carry the same sort of tribulation.
Yeah, definitely. Another cursed painting is the portrait of Lady Ossington. Lady Ossington was the wife of a statesman who built a coffee house in 1882 in Newark, Nottinghamshire in England. The general goal of the coffee house was a place where people could rest without consuming alcohol. After the lady's death, the business was run by several different owners. Ironically, it was converted in painting of Lady Ossington was in the main area of the bar. And amazingly, the moment they turned it into a bar, the painting started falling off the wall. Falling off the wall before, but it on a daily basis falling off the wall. And it was also stated by customers the painting gave off a very dark vibe.
So would it, like particular times it would fall off? Was there anything as far as actions or anything that would happen, or this is just like...
No, just they'd find, just all of a sudden, anytime during the day, the painting would fall off the wall, and sometimes they'd find it when they came to open up the bar that it was on the floor. But anyways, the owners came to realize the ghost of Lady Ossington was offended by them selling alcohol. So the owners gave the painting to a museum, and no further ghostly events have occurred. I guess Lady Ossington was very happy about it.
Happy
so what do you
about
think
surroundings.
on that?
Yeah, it's like she's trying to get off the wall, and if she could, she'd go straight out the door, but she can't make it that far. So she continues to just fall off the wall. Now she's in a museum. She's not around drunk people or, people that offend or disturb her. And now she's in a happy place, surrounded by other artifacts.
Exactly. Alrighty, the next painting, oh my God. This one you're gonna love. The next painting is the infamous The Hands Resist Him. Created in 1972 by Bill Stoneham. This painting was a reasonably successful piece when it first came out, and was even owned by actor John Marty. After the actor died, the location of the painting was unclear until the painting reappeared on eBay in 2000, and from there, it spread like wildfire. Apparently, it had been posted by an elderly Canadian couple who found in an they found it in an old brewery, but wanted to get rid of it because it would move sometimes. They see movement in the painting.
So yeah, not the painting itself, but within the painting there was movement.
Okay, and it's a weird painting. Basically, it's this weird doll that is holding some sort of an object, and a little boy standing next to the doll. The doll doesn't have eyes, and it's just this real creepy looking doll, life-size doll standing there. And in the background, see these creepy hands in the back area, about 6 hands in the shadows. And anyways, they said that sometimes the little boy in the painting would start to shift around, seemingly trying to escape the doll. And people also viewing the painting said that the hands would move around in the windows. Weirdly. Also, people viewing the painting claimed it made them feel uneasy and even physically ill. The eBay listing was viewed by over 30,000 people and was sold for $1,000.
Oh, wow.
New owner actually contacted hold on, trying to get my notes. The new owner contacted Bill Stoneham and found out that after the painting had been released in the gallery, the owner of the gallery and a critic that reviewed it died within a year of coming into contact with it.
That is insane. So was it natural causes or like horrific accidents or?
Don't know. They didn't say. But amusingly, you're going to love this, Tessa. You're going to laugh your ass off. Amusingly, Bill Stoneham, after hearing about the cursed painting, has created 2 sequel paintings. Though nothing supernatural has been found dealing with the sequel paintings.
Okay. It's like, let's continue the curse. Yeah.
Yeah, and amazingly, the painting was purchased by a dear friend of yours.
By who?
Guess who? The painting was purchased by a dear friend of yours.
What are you talking about?
Zach
Baggins.
Zach Baggins, and is now on public display in his haunted museum in Las Vegas. So if anyone wants to go and check out this haunted painting, you can go to his haunted museum. And, just remember to bring a nice bag with you in case you start puking.
Yeah. Bring your little fold-out bag.
Yeah, because, you'll end up being sick in that.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
It's like, that place has so many bad artifacts. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if a sinkhole opens up and the whole place just, goes to hell.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the Ghostbusters thing where the thing blows up and you have this big thing of energy going shooting
Oh,
up in
yeah.
the air and ghosts start flying all over the place, all over Las Vegas. I
Huge
mean,
plasma
seriously,
beam.
I mean, and what's worse is that Zach goes and lets people go in there with all these things, including a haunted doll that you're not even supposed to look into her eyes because bad things can happen. You can get clawed from it. All righty, Tessa.
Yeah,
Are
there's
you
also the
ready?
devil's chair. Don't sit in it, but here, you're allowed to sit in it. Like, certain people have sat in it and had different things happen. All right, I'm ready
Oh,
for the
yes,
last one.
Zach sat in it,
That's
too.
insane. It's like, really? It's in its
Yeah,
own little
really,
room, and you're
Zach,
gonna go in there and sit in it.
you're well, the thing is that when you go into Zach's haunted museum, you have to sign a little
Waiver.
disclaimer. Yes, saying that if you die, he doesn't get sued. Alrighty, so now we're getting into the best one, my ultimate favorite. Oh, I should say that last one, I have to thank my dear friend, actress Debbie Rochon, for making me aware of it.
Thank you, Debbie.
So, yeah, thank you, Debbie Rochon. And one thing I have to say is if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, check out her podcast that she does, um, Obscurities. It's a great one. Uh, People will love it. Alrighty, so here's our final haunted painting that I'm going to talk about. This one is awesome. Let me tell you the tale of the crying boy.
He is so cute. And it makes me sad that he's sad.
Yeah. 1985 in England, a devastating fire destroys the home of Ron and Mary Holmes. A kitchen fire, but after the firefighters came in, a
Hold on.
single painting. Okay, amazing thing. Uh, totally undamaged. It was the painting of a boy with tears in his eyes. The firefighters were stunned. How could a painting resisted to fire? It is found that this is not the only isolated incident. The firefighters had come across the painting from the crying boy before. In fact, a dozen times. Each time the paintings meticulously survived the fires without a scratch. In fact, it was estimated that there were at least 50 cases in one area of England.
Oh my gosh.
The Crying Boy was painted in Madrid in 1965 by a little-known Spanish artist named Bruno Amadio. Cheap reproductions of the painting were sold widely in the 1960s and 70s around England. But the house fires are the first times the paintings are linked to tragedies.
Didn't the boy himself that he painted come from tragedy?
Yes. Yeah, the boy was the only survivor of a fire.
And these places keep burning down. It's insane.
Yeah.
Because I believe in the picture, doesn't he also have, like, some soot on his face? Or no?
Some of them, yes. Some of them,
Okay.
yes, because Amadio actually painted several paintings of the crying boy. And what's odd is that one painting he's got dark hair, the other painting he's a blonde, the other painting he is a redhead.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
I've only seen the blonde-haired boy.
Yeah, this one, yeah, it's there's like 3 different versions of the crying boy, and they've all been duplicated and spread all over England. And so anyways, once the story of the painting was released to the media, reporters in England were inundated with accounts of the painting from all over the United Kingdom. All the stories raised a frightening possibility that the one connecting thread is the cursed painting. Amusingly,
Go ahead.
Oh, sure. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, didn't the woman that most recently owned the painting go and try to sell it or whatever to Zach Baggins, and he didn't take it?
No.
He's like, no,
No.
thank you. I'm going to pass.
No, the original painting actually was retained by the artist. Well, the paintings. But the thing is that he made his money off of making copies.
Mm-hmm.
Because people in the 60s and 70s started going crazy about art prints. You can see, people in those times, shit, my grandma at her house, she had Van Goghs all over the place.
Nice.
And stuff. And my mom, she had paintings from the Moulin Rouge. And
That's cool. Yeah, I got the Starry Night as my my shower curtain.
Yeah. So but this painting, is dangerous. So anyways, amusingly, as a result of the stories, one reporter went on a campaign to have every copy of the crying boy destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
He put it out to the people of the UK that if they want to save their homes, to send their copies of the crying boy art, and he would destroy them before any more tragedies happen.
Wow.
The newspaper where the reporter worked got overrun with the paintings. Everyone wanted to get rid of them. The reporter and his associates made a bonfire on the roof of the building and burned the paintings.
Wow.
They all burned. Now, amusingly, it should be noted that since this happened in the day of snail mail and not email on the internet, this story was not well known outside of the UK. Of course, if this crying boy curse were to happen today, I'm sure it would make international news. But the story was known narrowly in areas of England. The big question is, was the curse real? Could a painting cause a house fire? Can a painting have that kind of power? Is it it's something that is part of the vast mysteries of the world that we live in.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
especially those being reprints, not even the original. Where does it come from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's weird, it's like the power of that painting was just amazing.
Yeah, and is it like, did they know about this whole theory before they purchased this print, or did they just fall in love with it? Because he is so cute, like, who wouldn't want that painting? Could it be the power of suggestion, or is there an actual curse that goes along with it, is what I wonder.
Yeah, I kind of wonder it myself. The thing is that, people in England, you have the status level there, and most of the people who owned the crying boy in England were lower tiered people. The ones that lived in,
The flats
small
and such, like
houses and that.
yeah.
Yeah, the lower income people who couldn't afford fancy art, and so they bought these posters or these things that were printed on cardboard and hung them in their houses. So, and yeah, I mean, it's weird about these haunted paintings. It's just, some of these are just weird. I mean, I remember hearing about this one painting that, I mean, the thing looks like it comes from hell.
Right.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was done by a famous painter, and it just looked like this guy who had been burned, and it had these holes for eyes. And
oh shit. Let's put that in the dining room.
People, yeah, and people would literally get sick or say that this thing was looking at them and just
following them around
that
the room.
It was frightening. Yeah, and it was just weird. But yeah, people need to look at if you've got a copy of a painting in your home, find out the history of it, because you really don't want, sometimes, and same with photos. I recall a famous story about this lady that went to a garage sale, and she was amazed. She found this picture of this guy who was dressed in a leather coat, and he had a cigarette sticking out of his mouth.
And he had those sunglasses on, like bomber jacket sunglasses.
Back?
Yeah, I
Not
can hear
yet.
you now. What the crack? Anywho's, was he a military guy?
You back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But anyways, the guy that was in the picture was there, and he goes, "Oh, you like my picture, huh?" Well, here, take it. And she goes and she takes the picture without paying for it. And she starts having freaky shit coming on there. So she goes back to the garage sale and says she don't want the picture anymore. And the guy goes, "You never got that from me. I didn't have that." And it's like, what? And she couldn't get rid of this picture until she burned it.
Oh, shit.
But this guy, he was a dead guy, and he was haunting her. The greaser guy, he was haunting her.
Yeah, he was wearing like a bomber jacket and those big old like 80s style sunglasses. And
Yeah.
the spiky hair and like you said, the cigarette in the mouth. Yeah, it started off as like something more like she kind of fell in love with him. She's like, man.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he started to just like kind of take over there. It was not good.
Yeah, it's funny. I love that type of stuff. I mean, I'm kind of a petty dabbler in the supernatural myself.
Right. Well, on that note, we do have to go to our first music break.
Cool.
So, on this break, we have Gravity from Krakow, Poland with Throw You Away, as well as Take a Walk in My Shoes. And then we have Mr. Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California with Sugar. I love this guy. Then we have Prime Example, who has Mr. Roy Washington, who is our musical host and provides most of our music to us for our music breaks, with Prime Example featuring Carolyn Giles' Dancing Machine. I'll get you guys' booties rocking. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this music break.
Leaving here on this cold, lonely night without you. The tension's overbearing. Wondering, are you coming back home again? To inspire fondness with love. Where did our love go wrong? My sugar. Why did I make you cry? Whispers flow through my mind when I think about you. That warm feeling in me. My heart sings a sad song and just melts away. Please look into my eyes, my sugar. There's life in out there. Until the sun doesn't shine anymore, I'll be there. Where did our love go wrong? Burger.
So walk down the street, thinking all the things you said you need. Why don't you tell me, baby, how do you feel? So walk down the street, thinking all the things you said you need. Why don't you tell me, baby, how do you feel? Don't you take a walk? Why don't you take a walk? In my shoes, why don't you take a walk? Before you tell me what to do, don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk? In my shoes, why don't you take a walk? Before you tell me what to do. No, it's easy, you tell me what to do. Have you ever stopped to think all the things that I've been through? No, it's easy, you tell me what to do. Have you ever stopped to think all the things that I've been through? Don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk? In my shoes, don't you, baby, take a walk? Before you tell me what to do. Don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk? In my shoes, don't you, baby, take a walk? Before you tell me what to do. Before you tell
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. This evening, we are joined by horror author and producer of so many different amazing things, Mr. William Pattison, the one and only Mr. William Pattison. But on Wikipedia, it says Pattinson, but it is actually Pattison.
Yeah, I'm not the glittering vampire author. No, thank you. Though I will say I'm Batman.
Batman. I just shared a clip the other night where it's like "Good night in Gotham," and like any little indiscretion that these people were doing, Batman would show up and just start kicking their ass, and you have the point of view of the person getting their ass kicked. It's just like, oh my god, I have to share this. It was hilarious.
Oh,
Batman needs to get a new hobby.
Yeah. Oh my god. And the thing is that, everyone in Gotham knows who Batman is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of obvious. I mean, give me a fucking break. Oh yeah, we've got this guy dressed up as a bat who goes around and fights crime with all this advanced technology, and who's the richest man in Gotham who's beating up all the other rich gangster people but Bruce Wayne? But no, it couldn't possibly be Bruce Wayne.
Who else?
Right.
A bat plane, a bat boat, a bat car, a bat cave. He's got everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's just like Superman. Oh yeah, I put on some glasses and no one can recognize me. Give me a fucking break.
Yes, glasses.
Yeah, it's the glasses. It's just that overwhelmingly fashionable thing of, oh yes, I'm wearing glasses, so you can't tell that I'm Superman.
And Lois Lane is just playing dumb because she loves the chase. Let's play head games, though.
Yes, of course. But anyway.
Hello.
Tessa.
Hello. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Tessa.
I think we're back.
Earth to Major Tom.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Earth to Major Tom. Are you there, Major Tom?
Here am I sitting in a tin can. Holy shit. So we talked about this on break, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, this didn't happen last night. This is totally weird, but you got a point. Sometimes when certain energies meet up, there's catalyst and some shit that goes bad. So sorry, everybody. Sorry, Will.
Yeah, and of course, if you live in a haunted house, sometimes they like to screw with your stuff.
Yeah, mine's haunted too. So yeah. Not only are we talking, but maybe our ghosts are trying to communicate. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I keep trying to talk to him. I got one of those necropods.
Nice.
And nope, they don't want to talk to me. No, they'd rather lock me out of my house or make me have to yell at them.
And another thing I hate, as far as like ghost boxes go, you're asking questions, you want them to speak back. Sometimes they have their own conversations, and you can hear them talking, but it's just like when you hear them in the other room. You can hear they're talking, but you can't understand what they're saying.
Pretty much. I've seen that a few times with your buddy Zach Baggins.
Woo!
Yeah,
he's my best friend.
Yes, your little hobbit friend Zach Baggins with the weird hairdo, and now he wears the Clark Kent glasses. God, we can't even recognize Zach anymore because he's wearing the glasses.
Hey, who's this new guy?
Yeah, on Ghost Adventures. I mean, where's Zach Baggins with his tight T-shirts and his
Over-exaggerated
hairdo.
gestures.
Hairdos and him being possessed every episode?
Yeah, and anytime somebody else feels something, he's like, "Oh God, I'm feeling it right now." Like, he has to take it over. Nobody can have their own personal experience. It has to be him.
Yeah, I know, and and poor Aaron.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, Aaron's the sacrificial lamb all the time.
Hey, Aaron, go into the basement and hang out there all night. We're gonna lock you in this room forever.
Yeah, oh yeah. This is the devil room where women have gotten their skin sliced open and thrown against the walls, but oh no, I want you to stay there all night, Aaron, and I'm gonna lock the door on you. How's that sound? Great.
No, please, no. And I do believe that Aaron, I think, has had some things attached to him and some things happening. And so, like, remember when he used to be like, he'd go in there and he'd do it, and he'd be strong, but nowadays, like, he won't even listen to Zach. He's like, I'm out. I gotta go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
do that anymore.
Yeah, because he got stuff in there and it ruined his marriage.
Yeah.
It destroyed his marriage. That,
no.
I mean, when it comes down to that, it's like, oh yeah, and I mean, hell, the other one, got the other original,
Nick?
Ghosted, Nick. He walked out. He's still doing stuff, but he's not provoking anymore. So,
he's doing his own thing, and he went and married and had a baby with Tessa.
Really?
Yeah. Not me.
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, another Tessa, and she's actually a medium, and she's very gifted. I'm super stoked because I like Nick, and there's a few things that he's done recently that I'm like, really? At first it seemed like really good, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is totally scripted stuff. But I believe her last name is Apollo or something like that. But they went and met with Omar Gosh down in Florida, and they were trying to solve some sort of murder mystery thing going on. So that was cool. I want to see what happens with that because I really love, case files. I love cold case files and different things like that, as well as the paranormal. So those two worlds colliding, I'm pretty interested to see what they say and what's going to happen with that.
So have you been thrilled with Jack Osborne here lately? The last few months, they've had the two specials with him and Jay.
Jay
and Silent Bob.
What? I have not even seen that one, but I did see Jack Osborne and Bigfoot and Jack Osborne and UFOs and blah blah blah. I have not watched those. I did watch him and Katrina together because I like Katrina, and Jack. That's Ozzy's son, and he's pretty funny. But yeah, I watched that, but I didn't know. No.
Oh
really?
Yeah, and him and Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. That was him doing the Sasquatch thing, and he's got a new one that's going to be coming out where it's him and Jay, and they're doing UFOs.
Okay, so I've seen both of those posted, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because it's so many Osborne spoofs, and I saw the one with him and his sister. I watched a couple episodes, and I just really couldn't get into it. So I didn't watch these other ones, but now that you've mentioned it and Jay's in there, I'm intrigued, and I'm going to check it out.
Oh yeah, it's funny as hell. Jay is just a kick, especially when he's off the drugs. And
yeah, he's much clearer now, and he can actually speak.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's why Kevin is doing Clerks 3, is because Jay is off the drugs again.
Nice. I see that too. I love Clerks.
Oh, I know. I'm looking forward to it too. I love Jay. Jay and Silent Bob, and that's the one thing that Kevin does right. He does his Jay and Silent Bob stuff. Fucking with He-Man, no. No.
With Sasquatch.
Yeah. I have no problem with that, but messing
I love
around
those commercials.
with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, no. Don't do that. Don't do woke He-Man.
No.
No. That I totally disagreed with.
It can work.
Okay, so let's talk about my second subject of the evening. Which do you want to give them a little background on topas?
Okay, boys and girls. You know how there's the theory of Bloody Mary, the Candyman, and different variations such as that. Slender Man is a really big one. If there's enough people that look at these videos or listen to these stories, read these stories, or take it into effect as far as their mindset, if enough people believe or put enough thought process into this causes a reality known as the Toba.
Yeah, quite literally an imaginary creature or thing will actually manifest in the real world. And you talked about Slender Man, and there's been cases of people who are not joking about it.
Mm-hmm.
There was these guys who were out in the forest, believe it or not, and they were just hiking, and they found a bag full of dolls' heads.
Creepy.
In the forest. And the thing is that they pulled out their camera that they were using, to shoot pictures of the thing, and they were, showing these dolls' heads, and then they saw something in the distance, and they pointed it out there, and there was this huge Slender Man. I mean, it's,
Oh, that was the guy on the bike with the video where he didn't even see it, but it was on video.
No, these were two guys out in the forest.
Shit. That's crazy.
Hiking. And they saw this thing, and, it's the typical Slender Man with no face, suit, and that. But this thing...
Super skinny, lanky dude.
Extremely thin. The arms were unbelievably thin. The legs were longer than a human being's.
Mm-hmm.
And they see this thing, it's walking towards them, and all of a sudden these tentacle things come out of its back.
Ew. That's so gross.
And they just ran out of there, and they put the video out on on YouTube and stuff. They said you can believe us or not, and I looked at this, and it was like, whoa. Actually, they said, okay, other people there said, oh, well, it's CGI, you can tell it's CGI, and it's like, No, I copied it
Mm-hmm.
and sent it to a friend of mine who is a video specialist, and he says that it was not CGI. There was no, you know, how CGI has that little halo thingy around it and stuff.
Yes.
Bad CGI in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think these people had $1 million to spend on CGI of Slender Man.
Yeah, it's just like I was saying, I saw a video where there was this guy and he was riding his bike, and I think there was cornfields and other shit like that. But there was a road where there was power lines, and it was like a video where uh, you're basically seeing him in the background, and he pulls over to get some water or something, and in the background you see Slender Man like walking towards the road. And like you're saying, you could tell when that's fake, and he didn't even see it, I don't think. Um, but yeah, super tall, super slender, really freaking creepy, white head, no face, just
And
walking towards the
gloves.
road in a suit. What?
Yeah, in a suit and white gloves.
Yeah. And yeah, that was super creepy. And then there's the whole that girl, those two girls murdered their friend,
Yeah,
supposedly
because
over Slender Man.
yeah, because they believed in Slender Man, and they said that they were in communication with him, and he told them to kill this girl, and that he would take them to his special world afterwards. And that's just weirdness. But those two girls are now in jail and stuff.
I
But
think
yeah,
one is free now and the other one is still waiting for release, and that was the kind of like the ringleader for the whole thing. The one that was like, "Oh, well, Slender Man said this," and the other girl just totally bought into it.
yeah.
Man, I don't know. That would scare the shit out of me doing that to my friend. Like, I don't think I could do that, really.
Well, yeah, going and stabbing her.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, repeatedly, and then burying her in the woods. Fuck, man. I don't know.
But she did
Anyway,
survive, right? Is that there was like an electrician or somebody found her. She
yeah,
dragged herself quite a ways.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. They buried her thinking that she was dead, and she dug herself out and was, stumbling around, and the guy found her.
Hmm.
She had, was rushed to the hospital. I mean, shit, man. She was,
I think had they not buried her, she might have bled out, but I think the dirt and stuff kind of clouded the wounds.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And another topa that, I'm amazed you didn't know about this one was the rake.
Oh yes, I've seen some videos and pictures of this creepy ass thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for those who don't know about the rake is this, lanky humanoid creature. Its arms are exceedingly long.
Mm-hmm.
Its legs are short. Its face is extended, and it has this big old huge mouth full of sharp teeth, and it has almost like alien-looking black eyes, no hair on it, with a big, nasty spine down its back. Looks like it has that disease.
Mm-hmm.
Like it.
That chick on Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, yeah, that.
Rachel.
And these things are fast, and they are dangerous. If they see you, they charge you, and they let out these screams and shit. I mean, did you see the one in the barn where these ones came in? They had heard noises in this barn. They came in, and this thing charged at them, They went and ran, grabbed the barn door, slammed it and locked it, and this thing was banging on the door and shit.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, but I saw the one where somebody found like this underground place or whatever, but you could see the slats between the boards, and you could see a rig through there. And then the most recent one I saw, I think, was in Canada. And these people are filming a moose. They don't even see the rake in the background, but the rake is kind of stalking the moose too. And you can see it back there in the trees. So they saw it once they reviewed the video, but they didn't see it at the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then there's the the one tale about this guy who was out hunting and he ran into a rake. And he shot it a couple of times. It got away, but he had claw marks all over his arms and his chest from this thing. And, managed to get out of the woods and got to the hospital. But yeah, they were sitting there saying, "Oh my God, what attacked you? Was it a mountain lion or something? You're lucky as hell." And it's like, no, this thing, and he told them what it looked like, and they thought he was nuts.
Yeah, there was this video I saw, and it was a group of guys, I believe, from Boston. But yeah, they were going ghost hunting, and they went into this house, and I think they made their way into the basement. And the guy that was in the front that was like making jokes the whole time or whatever, ended up basically getting attacked by this thing. Some people could say it's a demon, but I think it was a rake because they're most often found in places like this. Yeah, they all are running out, and then they're like, "Oh, we're so and so," and you can hear them screaming like, "Get off me! Get off me!" So it had latched on to him, and like you said, was like scratching, probably biting him too. He finally got out and got away, and like you said, ran through the forest to their car, and to this day, he still won't even talk about it. They've asked him like, "Hey, what happened?" or "What attacked you? Did you see it?" Blah blah blah. He won't say anything. He doesn't want to talk about it. My brother had an
No.
experience like that too. He won't talk about it because it's so traumatic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and what's worse even is the incidents where the rake appears in people's houses. Now,
yeah,
those
like in
are
the attic and basement and stuff.
attic, basement. This one lady, she found a rake in her kitchen. She was going down to get something to eat, and this thing charged at her in her kitchen, this white thing with the long arms and that. Scary as hell. I mean, I wouldn't want to deal with something like that. I mean, shit, I can hardly run. It'd probably kill me.
And it makes me wonder where they come from, because, like, was there a story about the rake before they even started to be seen?
Yes, there was.
Where did that originate?
It originated, it actually originated on the dark web. Creepypastas.
Okay.
And this guy wrote about the rake. Doing the creepypasta thing and saying, "Oh yeah, I saw this thing and all that," and people started believing in it. The more people started, just like Slender Man, more people got in on it and was elaborating on tales about the rake, and then people started having actual accounts of this thing coming around. And the guy who invented the rake, he's sitting there, no, it can't be. It's, I wrote this thing. It was a creepypasta. It's not real. And then, people are going, no way. I've got the scars from it. My friend died because of this damn thing. So, and it's weird, topas. I mean, amusingly enough, there's another one that's television based. You're going to be amazed. You remember Patrick McGowan's series, The Prisoner?
I don't believe I've seen that.
Oh, well, if you ever do, it's brilliant. But there was this one character in an episode that he was this guy with dark hair and he had a mustache. And I can't remember the name of the character, but after the episode came out, people found out that there was an actual spy by that same name who looked exactly like the actor.
Your cover's blown, dude.
Yeah, and it wasn't the actor, it was an actual member of British Secret Service. He had a file and everything, and it was like, whoa. But, people have suggested that this spy was actually created by people believing in The Prisoner.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because The Prisoner is a freaky ass show, and oh my god. Yeah, if you ever get a chance, definitely check it out. It's a fantastic television show. They actually made a remake recently with the guy that played, goddamn Ian. No, not Ian. Ian McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he plays the villain in it. The guy that runs the village. The story's about this spy that decides to quit being a spy, and he gets captured, and he's taken to this place called the village that is kind of like a world unto itself, and it's all these different type of architecture and stuff, and people are there, and it has to be a happy place, and they've got this guy called Number One. Everyone in the village don't go by a name, they go by a number.
Weird.
And this thing, the guy, the spy, they give him the name Number 6, and he revolts against them in every chance he gets and keeps trying to escape. And they got this security system, which is this big, it's like a balloon that will capture people, will suck them inside of it and drag them back. But anyways,
That's
yeah.
super creepy. Kind of like the fog. Was it The Mist? Yeah, my kids just watched that recently, and they're like, "What's going on with this?" And I'm like, "This is a Stephen King movie." And yeah, there's something out there in The Fog. I believe it was The Fog, but I keep wanting to say The Mist.
The Mist. The Mist is Stephen King. The Fog is John Carpenter.
So what's The Mist? Yeah, they watched that. I liked it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good adaptation. The ending kind of sucks, where the guy goes and shoots his entire family
right
and all
before
the
they could save them. Like, really?
Yep.
Thanks, Stephen King.
Well, actually, that wasn't Stephen King. That was the director that came up with that ending. Stephen King's ending is a little bit different. But anyways, okay, now let's talk about some good Topa stuff. There is a Topa that is related to comic books. And this one's a personal favorite of mine, because this Topa is of one of my favorite comic book characters, surprisingly enough. It is Topa of John Constantine. Some people call him John Constantine, but actually in the comic book he corrects it and he says, no, my name's John Constantine. Now, Tessa probably knows this one because it's Keanu. Keanu Reeves played him in
Keanu. He's awesome.
He played him in the movie, the one movie, which he plays John Constantine, but it's not John Constantine because they go and they change too much of him. Change the entire backstory because John Constantine is English. And all of his, most of his adventures take place in England. Whereas Keanu Reeves, John Constantine takes place in L.A. And
he's like, whoa.
And John Constantine is a blonde-haired guy who wears a tan trench coat, a burgundy tie, and gray pants and loafers. And anyways, John Constantine, he's a working class, hard-boiled detective / master of the dark arts, whereas Keanu Reeves' guy was just an exorcist. Who fights demons and other evil supernatural creatures in a DC / Vertigo comic that actually lasted 25 years.
Very nice.
His appearance is based on the singer Sting. So he looks like Sting.
Oh.
He's also, as I said, they have Matt Ryan playing him in the television series, and also in Legends of Tomorrow. They had Constantine come on there after his television series got dropped after one season because Fox is a bunch of bastards. But anyways, yeah, and John has been in a whole bunch of animated movies and television shows. His most recent appearance, voiced by Matt Ryan, was in the episode before last of Harley Quinn.
That's just a handful.
Yeah, but he also, one of the best animated movies to watch that is the perfect Constantine movie is Constantine City of Demons. Fantastic film. Matt Ryan plays Constantine in it, and it's not a little kiddie movie, let's put it this way, because There's lots of blood and guts. There's sex. There's, nakedism, naked people in it and stuff. Awesome movie. But anyways, he's also
Grotesque
been
nudity.
grotesque nudity and grotesque
Guts and
blood
splatter.
and guts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the main villain, the main demon in it likes to take baths in putrefying dead bodies.
Ew. That's so
Yes.
gross.
Yeah, so he's got a pool full of dead bodies
That guy's
that are...
got some hygiene issues.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, also video games. Anyways, Constantine was created by Alan Moore, Steve Passett, John Tittleman, and John Ridgway for a 1985 issue of Swamp Thing. The character was such a hit that he got his own comic a year later, Hellblazer. And since then, he has, been in the New 52, Constantine comic, also another comic called John Constantine, the Hellblazer, and he is the head of Justice League Dark. So, not nobody in DC Comics, and just a fantastic character. I mean, over the years, the Hellblazer lasted 300 issues, and the story starts out on John Constantine's 30th birthday, and it ends with him 50 years old. So, unlike a lot of characters in DC, he actually aged during the run of his comic book. Of course, after, the New 52, they made him a younger Constantine, kind of changed his backstory slightly, and that. And that's the same Constantine that was in Justice League Dark. And the thing is that this Constantine does a lot more, magic than the old Constantine. The old Constantine used his wits and stuff. It was a much better written comic book, the old Hellblazers. If you ever get a chance, read them. They are incredible. One issue was actually written by Stephen King.
Nice.
More than one issue was written by Neil Gaiman as well, from The Sandman and that.
Yes.
Alan Moore, here's a little history on Alan Moore. Alan Moore wrote The Watchmen, V for Vendetta, The Ballad of Hate Jones, Swamp Thing, and, believe it or not, Tessa, one of the more famous Batman stories, The Killing Joke. And the comic book about Jack the Ripper that was adapted for the Johnny Depp movie From Hell.
Oh, wow.
So a huge, comic book person.
Yeah, for sure. Like V for Vendetta. That's me. Awesome. And
Yeah.
have you seen that that guy's been popping up for different things going on, like different people doing fraud or whatnot? There was this guy that was publicizing girls' nude pictures, and they were actually hacking into their emails and getting these pictures and posting them. Originally it was supposed to be like exes or whatever posting pictures to get revenge. They were actually hacking people's devices and their internet, like their email, and finding these pictures. But
Oh, I
yeah,
know.
the guy
Oh,
from
so
V
the
for Vendetta showed up, and yeah, they totally took them down hardcore.
you mean yeah, the social justice people who
Yes,
on the dark web that do it, and they wear
yeah,
the Guy Rolfe masks.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. In 1993, Alan Moore talked in an interview for Wizard magazine how John actually left the comic pages and he had an encounter with his character in real life.
you were telling me about that, and I was just blown away. I was like, no freaking way. But enough people
Yeah.
believe in it.
And Moore is not the only person to make this claim amusingly. Okay, while in Westminster in 1985, just after he introduced John Constantine, he related that he was in a sandwich shop and all of a sudden Constantine was standing there wearing his tan trench coat with his short haircut, blonde hair, and smoking a cigarette. Yeah, the person in front of Moore didn't just look like Sting, he looked exactly like John Constantine. This vision actually looked Moore straight in the eyes and gave him a conspiratorial smile. Then he nodded at Moore and walked around the corner from the sandwich shop. Moore was so amazed he dropped his sandwich and went around the corner after Constantine, but Constantine was nowhere in sight.
That's insane.
Years later, in another place, John appeared and actually talked to Moore. This time he came out of the shadows and whispered in his ear. The ultimate secret in magic is any cunt can do it.
A lot of people take offense to the term cunt, but it is actually a term of endearment.
And the thing is that if you're in England, they use that word all the time.
Yeah.
So that is exactly the way that an Englishman would talk, from John's level of being the working class person. Later on, John would appear to another writer on Hellraiser, Jaime Delano, when amusingly he was working on my favorite story, multiple issue story, Dangerous Habits. Dangerous Habits is an amazing John Constantine story, because in the story, John Constantine is dying of lung cancer.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, you know, it's multi-issues where he's dying from lung cancer. He's trying to save his own life. He tricks the devil. You know, the thing is, he goes to see a friend of his who turns out he thought that he could cure him, but this friend of his was dying of liver cancer, and he had sold his soul to the devil.
Oh, no.
To make beer.
Ah! That guy has a problem.
And amusingly, he wanted to make the ultimate beer. And the thing is that John Constantine, before the devil came to try to grab his friend and take him to hell, John offered the devil a glass of the beer.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was like, okay, you know, you went to all the trouble to give him the ability to make this beer. You know, you should
might
at
as well
least
try
the product. But what Constantine didn't tell the devil was that the main thing in this beer was holy water.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
And that this beer would change from beer to holy water if a candle was blown out. So the devil drinks this beer, and Constantine blows out the candle, and the devil starts burning from the holy water. And Constantine saves his friend.
Nice.
From the devil.
Slippery bastard.
But later on, Constantine decides that he's going to take his own life before he ends up having to be, stuck in a bed dying of lung cancer.
Oh, wow.
So the thing is that he came up with a plan on this, and you're going to love this. Anyways, he goes and he cuts his wrists, and the devil comes to him and he goes, "Oh, John, you decided to come early?" And he goes, "No, I know I'm dying here." And, he goes, "Oh, well, we've got a lot of fun for you, after the crap that you pulled on me." And he says, "Oh, yes, well, come on, John, it's time to go, when you die." And he goes, "Well, you're going to have trouble there." And two other demons show up.
Uh-oh.
And they're going, "No, he is mine. No, he is mine. No, he is mine," the devil tells them. He goes, "No, I've given my soul, promised my soul to all three of you. And the thing
Fight
is
amongst yourselves.
That if you want a piece of this sexy ass, you're going to have to go to war with each other, and it's going to tear hell down, and guess who's going to win in the end? God! God is going to win, and he's going to take me. And you're just going to end up destroyed. So guess what? You're going to have to make sure that I'm alive and I'm good. Because the moment I die, one of you has to take my soul, and the other one's going to stop him. And you're going to end up going to war and all this, and, hell's going to be destroyed. And so the devil ends up having to heal his wounds from cutting his wrists and heal his body of the lung cancer. He tortures him while doing it.
Oh, what a nice guy.
Does it slow and nasty and, rips into his chest and, pulls all this nicotine and shit and the cancer cells out of his body. And John, he gets up, he's naked, and he grabs his clothes and puts them back on, and he's going to leave. Oh yeah, bye guys. And he goes, no, he realizes he can't do this because it's, he's got a reputation, to deal with. So he turns to them and he goes, boys, and he gives them the finger and he says, up yours.
Nice.
And
well,
so anyway,
go on, continue what you were going to say, but after that we do have to go to our next music break.
Okay, well, let's go to the music break, and then I'll just finish up after.
Very nice. All right, so on this music break, we have Mr. Dan Medina, who is also from Krakow, Poland. He is one of the original band members from Gravity, and he will be singing I Won't Let You Go. Then we have Prime Example with Mr. Roy Washington, Power Play, Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California with After Dark, and Gravity with My Last Goodbye. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Things come and said, streets of these are going to dead end. Listening to waves on windy days, standing by the wall, making sense of it all. So alone in the dark, all alone in the dark. All alone in the dark, you're alone in the dark. 'Cause I won't let you go. You're so far away, always with my soul. I won't let you go. Oh, you're so far away, always with me in my soul. Yeah, yeah. Looking for a reason not to leave. Mystified, lives inside a world selling us all. Oh, she's alone in the dark, all alone in the dark, all alone in the dark, so alone in the dark. 'Cause I won't let you go. I won't let you go. You're so far away, always with me in my soul. Yeah, yeah. And I won't let you go.
good until one day he cried out, Lord, save me. Teach me the lessons of life, won't you raise me? Because I tried everything under my hat, and I found all my plans were tears in the right. I need a hero, a real life camaraderie, to step in to see me and deliver a power play. Something to raise my head from the dust. It's a must. I find someone in whom I can trust. I must grow in knowledge, live what I learn. I'm so glad to meet you, yo, my name is Vern. Lead me any way that you will and I'll share. I need your power play. Dreams to the front and all past behind. Memories of things you did so absurd. Came to the curb, now burns the word. Cause often we're low now, problems and writers. But with power from God, yeah, we all still victorious. Listen to the seed, the knowledge, and digest the real only. Cause a trooper like Jay keeps it righteous. And it's present prime example of a vocalist, adjust your bubble. Leroy D is like dangerous trouble. Trouble if you want it, peace if you with it. Never before known of a man who can stand it, but so irrelevant. So kick it in if you will, Lord, and I'll shield. I need your power play. Yeah, here comes another one. Powerful in knowledge, and now you're not guessing. When power meets the darkness, the devil's got you go. That's my Weasel, and now he's going loco. If you got a problem, God can solve it. Power from the general, and you're in his outfit. Why must the fit stay dirty so filthy? Get off your rear and whitewash the pickings. Power for cleansing, power for sanitizing, power for us, power for the rising of the sun. Cause in your darkest hour, you can look up and express to feel the power up. I need your power play. Yeah. Comes another one.
No matter what I say after dark.
You see, anything I do, you say you can save me. So why don't you try it? No matter what you tell me, tonight I'm gonna say my last goodbye. Oh. You say you can save me, so why don't you try? No matter what you tell me, tonight I'm gonna say my last goodbye. Oh. My last goodbye.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. This evening, we have the one and only Mr. William Pattison, and he is talking about topas, and we're talking about John Constantine. I want to say teen this time.
So, anyways, yeah, we were talking about appearances of this topa of John Constantine. Sometimes I say Constantine too. So, Americans like to call him Constantine. English people call him Constantine. But anyways, and I mentioned about the fact that he made an appearance to Jaime Delano, who is a writer on Hellblazer. Anyways, it happened at a bar in Chicago. The writer was having a drink and was stunned to see John standing at the bar ordering a shot of whiskey. Once again, John looked right at Delano. This time, he actually strolled over to Delano's table. He downed his shot and placed the glass on the table. He smiled at Delano and said, "The real truth about witchcraft is it's all bollocks."
Alex.
With that, he pulled out a pack of silk-cut cigarettes, took a cigarette, put it between his lips, and lit it with a gold-colored lighter with a cross on it, and simply walked away. Delano would see Constantine once again in 2009 in front of the British Museum in London. Both he and John were crossing the street and recognized each other and half-turned. Each opened their mouths to speak, but no words came out, and they simply kept walking. The last chronicled visitation of John Constantine was in 2012 at a London nightclub. John Constantine, the Hellblazer writer, Peter Milligan, sighted John at the bar at the nightclub. After the shock wore off, Milligan ran toward him, but Constantine was gone. He asked the bartender and he confirmed the blonde guy in the trench coat named John had been there. He'd even given the bartender a nice tip. Milligan actually stated that he was happy he didn't catch up with John because the one real truth about John Constantine is that it is a fatal mistake to be his friend. There is a
he might kick your ass.
No. There is a 95% fatality rate for John's friends.
Don't wear your red shirts, boys and girls.
Yeah, pretty much, because, all through the Constantine comics, John ends up trying to save the day, and he always ends up sacrificing a friend. And in the comic book, he is followed, and he keeps seeing all these friends of his and girlfriends and stuff that's died because of him.
Oh, he's being haunted now.
Yeah, he's being haunted. And there's one story in the Constantine thing that overshadows everything, which is a story about when he was the lead singer of Mucous Membrane, which actually turns out to be a real band that started it up because of John Constantine in England. A punk band. But anyways, John...
Oh, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's got to be punk if it's called Mucous Membrane.
Yeah. John was, in fact, the lead singer and lead guitarist, and his buddy Chaz was the drummer in Mucous Membrane. But anyways, one time they ended up at this nightclub that was owned by this guy that was into the dark arts. And what ended up happening is that this dark arts guy used his own daughter to channel demons.
Oh, what a good guy. Hey, kudos,
Yeah.
Dad. Good job. Parent of the year.
Yeah, so John tried to stop him. He tried to save the girl, and he called on a demon. But this was when John was still learning, and he was, overly, anxious. And he forgot to do a protection circle. And
yeah, that's a good first step.
To call the demon by its proper name. He tried calling this one demon, and the demon that actually came through was another demon named Nagal. And Nagal, he goes through and he kills the girl's father, and he decides, John has no control over him, so Nagal grabs the girl, whose name's Astra, and he opens up a portal to hell, and he throws her into the portal. And then he goes through and kills practically everybody in the nightclub except John and his friends.
Damn it, Stephen Nagal. I'm just kidding.
And John and his friends, after that, Mucous Membrane ends. John's girlfriend becomes a nun, and all of his friends back off, and John puts himself in Raven Scar Asylum for 3 years because he can't deal with what happened.
I'm just saying, if your girlfriend decides to be a nun after dating you, there's really something wrong. There's really something wrong.
Holy shit. Yeah. And then years later, she John Constantine finds her in Mexico at this nunnery.
Oh, diablo.
Where a demon is actually in the nunnery. She ends up dying.
Holy
actually, she dies
right after John shows up.
Constantine ends up, he gets possessed by, guess what? What famous demon? You're going to love it.
Oh, no.
Pazuzu.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he ends up possessed by Pazuzu. Ends up killing a man. Ends up in Mexican jail where he scares all the prisoners. He ends up Chaz and the nun get him out of there and do an exorcism on him where she dies.
And then John's like, hey, how long have you been nunning it up? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and anyways, all through the comics, his friends from that one incident end up dying. Another friend of his, he accidentally finds a fly demon that consumes, that has a bad consuming thing. If it possesses a person,
gluttony.
They eat themselves to death.
Yeah.
Including cannibalism.
Oh, no. No.
So
where's
John...
children? Oh, they're safe and sound. Right in my tummy.
Yeah, well, this thing was from Africa, and the thing is that the shaman that trapped the demon in this little boy, sewed the kid's mouth shut, put a sigil on his head, and the kid got stole and brought to England, and John's friend found this kid, extracted the demon from it, put it in a bottle, and sent it to a friend of his in New York. The friend ends up dying, and the demon gets out, so John has to go to New York.
Oh my gosh.
And capture this demon with his friend.
And John's like, this is why we can't have nice things.
What ends up happening is they can't use the bottle again, so the demon has to go into a body, and
oh my
the
gosh.
body
and that's where Chucky started.
Has to be sewn up and put the sigil on there, and the person with the demon in it, the demon will get hungry and start eating them from within, and they'll die, and the demon will die with them.
Ew.
So his friend...
demons don't have souls, so they can't come back. They're just like, hi.
No, they go to the emptiness.
Yeah, to the empty black space.
Yeah. So John ends up, he has to sew his, put the demon in his friend, sew his mouth shut,
oh, no.
Put the sigil on his head, and watch his friend die.
Hey, if anybody ever thinks about being friends with John Constantine, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. But you can gather, Tessa, why I love John Constantine, why I love the comic book, I love the character.
Even though you know better, you still want to be his friend.
No, don't want to be his friend, but I love his stories because he's such an anti-hero.
Right.
He's not a superhero, though they try to put him in with superheroes, but he's
It's kind of like Deadpool. I love that guy. Can't get enough. But we are at 29 minutes, just so you know. Because I know you wanted to hit on some other points, so.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, that's our little piece on John Constantine.
Yeah,
The
I'm
Topa
wondering.
John Constantine. Fascinating, though. I mean, I can imagine your listeners are just stunned by this stuff.
They're just blown back. They don't even know what to say.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, I got a treat for them.
Yay!
You know, in honor of John Constantine, I wrote my own character that's a supernatural Devlin Dark. And I'm just introducing him in his first story.
And that's his name, Devil in Dark?
Devlin Dark. Darck. Yeah, Devlin Dark. And the story is called A Death in the Family, and it deals with Devlin Dark's family and a situation that happens with his family. Anyways, it's called Death in the Family, A Devlin Dark Tale by William Pattison, dedicated to my family, the whole lot, and to Alan Moore, who created my favorite supernatural ass kicker, John Constantine.
Hell yes.
Family is a complicated relationship at the best of times, but when one of their number leaves this mortal coil, it can make it that much more complicated. Of course, if your last name happens to be Dark, it can be pure hell, literally. I'm a bit of an expert on complicated things. My life is a complicated mess. I guess I need to introduce myself and explain. My name is Devlin Dark, and I'm God's warrior against the minions of Lucifer Morningstar, a.k.a. Satan, a.k.a. the devil, and a shitload of other names. To put my
Brilliant.
job in layman's terms, I kick demon ass. I do this because 15 years ago, I died after being possessed by a demon and being forced to kill the paranormal research team I was a part of. Anyways, just before I died, I managed to eject the demon from my body all on my own. From what I gather, this is an incredible, rare thing, and suddenly I had an angel offering to bring me back to life and allow me to renew my soul so I can go to heaven when I die again. Hold on a moment. Okay. Oh, and that's another thing. If I succeed, the souls of the paranormal team I killed will also be able to go to heaven as well, since currently they are trapped between worlds in limbo. One of them, though, my former girlfriend, Carol, who the demon in my body tricked into hanging herself on the promise that it would release me if she did it, is not. Rule 1 when dealing with a demon: never believe a word that comes out of their yaps.
Not a word.
Well, anyways, she is my guide, and thankfully so, since the other members of the team are really fucked up, and I really don't want to deal with a bloody mess on a daily basis. No thanks to that. I see them all in my nightmares every night. I think that's enough. Oh, did I mention that as part of my deal, I'm stuck with the angel as well? Oh, fuck yeah. Until I've taken down enough demons and cleansed my corrupted soul, I'm stuck connected to that white wing, goody two shoes cock blocker. Oh yeah. Vernon, as he likes to be called, though I doubt it's his real name, is my channel to angelic power that I can use in hunting demons. Also, it is through this connection that Vernon is healing my soul. Well, as long as I'm a good boy and fight hell's minions, that is. The connection also allows me to see the world through the lens of the spiritual world. Thus, I can see the state of the souls of people around me. Not a pleasant sight. I can also see lost spirits as well as demons and other hellspawn that invade this world through portals to hell. As well, I can see the state of my own soul when I look at my reflection, which is still a startling thing to confront when I go to brush my teeth and shave. You see, when I look in the mirror, I don't see my face, but that of the demon who possessed me. Though over time, I've seen changes. My reflection no longer has glowing red eyes or pointed teeth or horns. Also, thankfully, I don't have to look or glowing eyes or pointed ears or horns, I should say. Also, thankfully, I don't have to look at a mouthful of dagger-like teeth or slithering snake-like tongue. Nope. I got my pearly whites back. Well, slightly yellowed from the occasional Cuban cigar. I'm a man, a man has needs, or a man needs something to enjoy after all, especially with all the shit I have to deal with. But on with the story of the complicated family supernatural drama I got stuck in the middle of. I had just finished dealing with a rather nasty batch of Furies in New Jersey and was on the road heading back home with my brother Damon, who is my trusty driver, assistant, in-house mage, and in some cases, emotional support. The notice of our old man's demise amusingly came over the radio. We were listening to a radio news program. It's unfortunately part of the business. Personally, I'd rather be listening to some AC/DC or Black Sabbath, but the news can, on occasion, lead us to something going on that we might miss otherwise. We were informed by the sultry-voiced female anchor on the radio that our father, Daniel Jacob Dark, had been viciously murdered in his home in San Marino, California, by a serial killer the press had amusingly named the Angel of Mercy Killer. Dad had been the 10th victim of this nut job's bloodbath. Supposedly, the murder happened 5 days before, and of course the police were still looking for clues. No duh. I need a drink, Damon said, his voice a monotone. It wasn't from grief, but pure surprise. My brother nor I had any love for our sperm donor. I'm with you on that, brother, I said under my breath. I was completely numb, of course. This would end my 5 years of sobriety. But this was a special occasion. It wasn't like I was heartbroken over the old man's death. He was a fucking bastard, and I honestly hoped the prick royally suffered. I'm sure Damon felt the same. As I said, the relationship in families can be complicated and screwed up. That was definitely the situation with my brother and I, with the old man. For you see, Father considered us disgraces to the name Dark. He wanted us to be stereotypical sons, literally Stepford children. You know the types, good at sports, bawling cheerleaders, beating down anyone that was considered beneath our station in the social hierarchy. Unfortunately, neither one of us bore any resemblance to that expectation.
Sorry, Dad.
My younger brother Damon was always a lone wolf, and he had an interest in magic. Hello.
Hello. Sorry. I had another
Okay.
buffering effect, but my brother Damon.
Okay, my dear younger brother Damon was always a lone wolf, and he had an interest in magic, both white and dark. Oh, and also he is gay. Oh boy, that was definitely an interesting evening when he confessed his sexual preference to Dad and Mom. Unfortunately, I wasn't there for the fireworks. Needless to say, poor Damon got tossed out of the house at the delicate age of 16.
Aww.
Honestly, for him, it was the best day of his life. He was finally free of Dad's heavy-handed parenting style. And it was lucky he had his wonderful, open-minded big brother to give him a place to stay.
Definitely.
Thankfully, he would return the favor when I woke up from my coma a year after my resurrection and escaped the hospital. This was, of course, because I woke up with the murder of 5 people hanging over my head.
Oh my goodness.
That was a royally amusing time of my life, I can tell you. As for myself, you would think that my brother slamming guys in the backside would be to our father the worst thing a son could be. But nope. For you see, I was just as bad in his eyes, even though I most definitely like the female sex. Oh, do I love me some good woman.
Oh, yeah.
But you see, I committed the personal sin of being artistically and horribly intellectual. In fact, my interest turned towards the paranormal and supernatural. In fact, my interest went to the study of demonology. Oh God, save my soul. I'm such a naughty boy in his eyes. The funniest part of all this was our dear father wasn't by any stretch a saint or angel. In fact, Dad was a royal scumbum piece of shit. Dad was a very successful accountant and dabbled in loan sharking on the side. He even had a big, dumb, muscle-bound asshole named Vinny on the payroll who would take great pleasure in breaking people's fingers or other body parts when they were late on payments. But Mr. Moneyman had a serious weakness. He loved the horses and was very unlucky when it came to gambling. Thus, even with him working his ass off, we as a family rarely had any extra money to live on. On top of that, Dad loved his whiskey, but was a nasty and abusive drunk. On more than one occasion, I got the shit beaten out of me trying to defend Mom and Damon from his wrath. Thankfully, Dad had a nasty stroke several months before I left home and Damon came out of the closet. He completely...
Now that Dad is like comatose, how about I tell you guys this? I'm going to come out of the closet.
Yeah. Well, anyways, he had a stroke. He completely lost the ability to use his right arm as well as ended up in a wheelchair due to the fact that he could barely use his legs and hated using crutches to walk around with. He also lost facial movement on the right side of his face and the sight in his right eye as well. Of course, given his multiple disabilities, Dad had to retire early, and thus his petty little empire died with his damaged brain and limbs. Karma is a bitch, and it couldn't have happened to a better bastard.
I totally have to agree with that.
Soon after the two of us left home, Mom finally got smart and walked out on him. My oldest sister, Diane, and her husband, Pastor Leonard, ended up selling the family home for a tidy profit and put Dad in a small slum pit apartment and got a live-in nurse to take care of him. It was there that the angel of mercy had his fun with him. So on to our tale of family and the supernatural. Now that I got you caught up on our backstory. So Damon and I were on our second round of shots of whiskey and icy mugs of beer when my cell phone started going off. I pulled it out of my coat pocket and looked at the caller ID to see if I could ignore it. Most of the time, it would be some bishop or some member of the clergy trying to play boss on us.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, boys. The only representative of the big man I have to listen to is the wing supervisor. I'm stuck getting the one-on-one treatment with on a daily basis. I don't need any more. You are just the support team that only is supposed to provide us with resources like holy water and the pitiable sum you give me and my brother to survive on. That is it. But thankfully the call wasn't from them, but it was still killed. But it still killed the buzz for us. The caller was my niece Dana, and she was really desperate for help. That's where I left off.
I like it. So do you ever have like that writer's block, or you're just like, oh, here it comes again? Or how does the process go for you?
No, I get writer's block quite a bit. I have days where I can't write, and it gives me severe headaches because the characters are in my head screaming at me. But yeah, I mean, I know the story, but I just can't get the words to go. That's why currently I'm working on 3 stories, and I jump from one story to the next, because if I jump to the next story, I probably won't have writer's block on that. So I start writing that for a little while, then I jump to the next story.
You kind of do a ping pong back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And,
whatever works, because I can see that. I have that in my own life where it's just like, you have to shut down for a bit, whether it be sleeping a lot or whatever you're doing. Sometimes you have to just shut down, reboot, or do updates, whatever the heck it is, and then go back to it with fresh eyes or ears or whatever, like your mind's eye to where the story is being written. But yes, I love the way it's going. I really do enjoy it.
Cool. Yeah, I wanted to give it kind of the noir detective type thing with a little bit of sarcasm.
Yeah, and the points where you're like, oh, and hey, did I mention? Or these other things, like you're writing, you have these thoughts that pop up or whatnot. It kind of gives it a sort of personal reference to where the reader can actually kind of adapt to that person or connect, in a sense.
Yeah, it's part of the personality. I kind of got the snarkyism from John Constantine, but there was also another one that I mentioned it earlier, Brimstone, which I liked, and I also I'm very much a Kolchak the Night Stalker one, so I kind of like the anti-hero type ones in the supernatural.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so for people that want to publish through you or want to check out what you're writing, what you're doing, where can they go? Do you have a website or a certain place they can go to find you?
Oh, yeah. For WCP Enterprises Publishing, you go to wcpenterprises.weebly.com. If you want to buy some of my books, you can find it on Amazon.com/author/William Pattison is one word.
And it's not Pattinson, it's Pattison.
Yeah, Pattison.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's funny as hell. No, I am not. No, I'm not the glittery vampire writer. I don't.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, the person who finally got me back up on Wikipedia the thing is that she said that every time she tried to spell my name correctly,
I wouldn't allow it.
It
Sorry,
would
blocked.
erase.
Sorry, blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, and what gets me is the ones that pulled this, some of the people involved were like people who were part of Fangoria magazine, believe it or not.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah. Uncle Bob Martin and Christopher Alexander. They pulled this stuff, and yeah, I mean, I can't do a biography on Wikipedia under William Pattison. I can't do anything. I was lucky that someone had already put it up as Eric Morris, but you can't do anything further on Eric Morris because they put a block on Eric Morris.
Oh my gosh. Maybe you could put like AKA in quotations this name, William Pattison. Pattison. Nope, won't allow it.
Nope, they won't do
dude?
AKAs.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know, I'm kind of freaked out because I've done things on this newest computer I have, and sometimes it's kind of moving around like I'm not moving it, so I'm wondering, do I have a hacker? I don't know, I'm kind of freaked out at the moment, but we shall persevere. But no, it was totally awesome to have you on the show. I'm glad that you did a live reading of your book that you are now writing. And I did read about like the different things that you are doing. So have you finished that series of books, or how is that going?
No, I'm actually on the 5th book of the 6-book series.
Nice.
Yeah, the main story on this one's going to be intriguing. It's about a guy who his girlfriend goes and cheats on him. She's going to get married to a serial killer's cousin, and he kidnaps her and the serial killer, kills the serial killer's cousin, and goes to kill her, but she has a heart attack and dies. So he's a professor at a college, and so what he does is he goes and tracks down an ancient book of power, and
well, I hate to
brings
cut
her
you off, but we are at the end of our time. But I want to thank you so much again for being on our show tonight. It was so awesome talking to you and hearing different things from the new book and where we can find you. But thank you so much, William, for being on the show. It was awesome.
No problem. No problem at all. And as always, everyone keep America strong, watch horror films.
And thank you to all the friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, KPNL Radio, Twitter, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you're listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend. It's actually Labor Day. I didn't plan anything because we were going to go out of town, but I think we're just going to stay home or maybe go camping. I'm not sure, but might be replays, might be something else. Anywho's, you guys, don't forget, we're all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better, and together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without